Thank you, Mike, and congratulations. We'll resume here. We've got Jim Noble, then we go to Adam, and then back upstairs to Nate.
Jim Noble with PRN. Denny, I just wanted to know what a typical day of rehab has been for you since the surgery. Is this something you do morning, noon, and night to get yourself to be able to race, and just kind of walk us through a day?
It varies. You know, my day usually starts off of, you know, I have my personal trainer will get me out of bed in the morning, and I'll do upper body stuff, you know, because I feel so terrible. I haven't been in the gym for the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. That I'm just starting to get back into the gym and do stuff like that. Try to do some cardio, you know, as much as I can, upper body. Then I'll leave there. Then I'll go to Ortho Carolina and to their offices, or go to the shop where they'll meet me, and I'll just go through usually about an hour and a half of rehab, just trying to, you know, get on a bike and just somewhat try to move. You know, I've just gotten to where I can make one revolution on a bicycle because my range of motion's so bad right now. So just doing that, and just an extensive leg workout, and you know, obviously I have, you know, a game ready machine, which is the ice and compression that I stay on pretty much for the rest of the 18 hours a day that I'm not doing rehab or in a gym. So it's very frustrating, and it's easy to get down, and it's borderline depressing to you know, not be able to do anything. I can't enjoy. I have to just sit on my tail when I'm not rehabbing every single day, and it's when it's nice weather outside and everyone's going out and doing stuff, it's frustrating. But you know, this is something I was going to have to do no matter what, and you know, I put myself in this situation, and I got to deal with the consequences, and you know, when hopefully this thing gets better, it's going to just make me stronger.
Adam Amick, ESPN Dallas. Coach Gibbs, this question for you. I'd like to ask you about, you've got a young man sitting to your right who's worked through injury. You've seen a lot of that when your time in coaching in the NFL. You've got a young man in your team, Kyle Busch, who's worked through some issues and really shown a maturation process. You've got a young up-and-comer who's shown a lot of maturity, in Joey Logano. Talk about the character of these 3 young men that you have on your racing team.
Well, be truthful. Everybody knows in, you know, our sport, you got to have great guys driving the cars. And we're thrilled that we got young, great drivers. I think Denny, just like you mentioned, you know, his story is a great story. And I think with his family sacrifice and all the things that happened to him, have him on board and him to immediately take over that 11 car and do what he's done, it's helped us so much with FedEx. Then you got Kyle. We were fortunate enough to get him. And, you know, as teammates, I think Denny and Kyle, I was talking to Denny, probably the 2 racetracks that Kyle would have probably said he has the toughest time was Martinsville, and Phoenix he had done pretty good. But I think he kind of, they're contrasting driving styles, and I think he's learned a lot from Denny, you know, at Martinsville, and raced her well there last go around. I think they have contrasting styles. Then you got Joey, who's really the, you know, the young guy. Pretty phenomenal story there, an 18-year-old stepping in. We got, you know, testing taken away. What I'm hoping is that we got 3 great young drivers, and we're positioned for the future. And if we work together, and what we try and do at Joe Gibbs Racing, everything we have is focused on 3 cars. And our hope is that we can get an edge there. Now, you don't know in the sport, you know, is that going to pay off, or is it going to take, is it going to be big numbers of cars that win? But anyway, that's our hope, and I think our strength of what we have is our crew chiefs and our drivers, those young guys, and we're proud of them.
Nate?
Yeah, Denny, you proved today you could win with a knee that's 60%. I assume you could do the same at Talladega and Charlotte. Are the ones you're worried about as the knee comes back over the next month, or the ones you're worried about Richmond, Dover, and Darlington?
Well, I think by the time I get around to Richmond, hopefully we you know, being out, I can really take a week off with it next week in Talladega, as long as I don't go on my head and upside down and through the fence. But as long as I can take that next weekend off and not get a setback there, then I should be able to walk normal and things like that, and be able to rehab will come much faster in probably 2 weeks is what they tell me. So by the time I get to those racetracks where it is going to be physically demanding again, we should be in good shape. So it's a big statement race for us.
We'll finish up here with Dustin.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. I had two questions for you, Denny. One, just to kind of relate to what Mike Ford said earlier, in the sense of you guys are kind of in a way giving up a little bit of something early to get something later. Obviously, the Hendrick cars were strong. How challenging or tough is that emotionally, maybe in some ways for you, to see that and to know that maybe in some cases you can't fully compete with some of their cars?
Well, it's tough because, I mean, in some instances they have the power of the numbers. They do have a lot, but I feel like Joe touched on, there's also a lot of people focused on myself, the 20 and the 18 as well, and maybe there's an edge to be gained there instead of a big bulk of numbers, guys getting the resources spread out through. But for myself, we were running through the course of the race, and it was just all the Hendrick guys and me, and I think Rudiman was running around us at that time. But it's frustrating, but I know what's encouraging for me right now is I know what's coming in the future. I know what we're doing right now, and we're still competitive. Like Mike said, there's going to be roller coasters, races where we're high and we're low and things like that, simply because of what we're doing right now. But I know what's coming, and that's what I'm really excited about.
I also wanted to ask you just about a lot of questions from drivers about what it'd be like today with racing with the spoiler in traffic. Can you get a sense? Was it that much different? Was it anything like with the old car? I know you were really in it for one season. Could you do some of the same things? Could you get up behind people, get them loose the same way? Did the car do things, or was it a lot more difficult?
It was much easier than what it was. The car seemed to be planted to the racetrack quite a bit more. You could race around guys without the air being taken off of you as much as it did. So I think it made for better racing. I think it was a step in the right direction for our sport, obviously for the looks and for the competition side. So I thought that as far as the grip level, it just added some grip to the racetrack, and when you do that, you add some comfortability to the race car drivers, and that's what is going to make for a great finish at the end.
Denny, Coach, congratulations, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys. Thank y'all.